The Knesset has just passed a new amendment to the Education Act into law. The new legislation now allows the state to ban groups that are critical of the IDF from even entering school grounds. Education Minister Naftali Bennett, who co-sponsored this amendment, praises the development. He says that, quote, anyone who wanders around the world attacking IDF soldiers will not enter a school, end quote. And ILTV's Aaron Porras is here to discuss this story. So, Aaron, who is this likely to impact the most?
Well, the bill was primarily targeting breaking the silence. It was even actually called the Breaking the Silence Bill as a pseudonym.
Right.
And that's an NGO that publishes typically anonymous allegations of human rights abuses
Not
in the
always,
military.
but sometimes anonymous, right?
Charges said to come from former combat soldiers, as you also know, in the West Bank. Now, in fact, Bennett went on to single out breaking the silence after the bill passed, saying that long ago, crossed the boundaries of legitimate discourse when they chose to slander Israel in the international arena. That being said, the Justice Ministry suspects that this bill would affect any organization that opposes Israeli presence in the West Bank.
Right. So on one hand, of course, I know that Israeli leaders have long been trying to block organizations like Breaking the Silence because they say that it harms, public security and national security. On the other hand, there's not only an argument to be made about transparency with the army and conduct in the occupied territories, but also a free speech debate to be had as well, right?
Yeah, well, first, the political right here paints Breaking the Silence as traitorous. MK Bezalel Smotrich, who initiated the bill, said he disagrees that Breaking the Silence's rights to speak have been infringed at all, and that because schools aren't necessarily in the public sphere, then they have no intrinsic right to speak there. Further, he said that indeed any group that undermines national and patriotic values should not be given that right in the first place. But from Breaking the Silence's perspective, they believe that they're performing a vital national service by exposing issues that need attention. In fact, the NGO released a statement that read in part, "This attempt to gag Breaking the Silence won't succeed in hiding the occupation from students, but it shows how afraid Bennett and his friends are of their own ideology." It goes on to point out that they aren't anti-IDF simply because they are IDF soldiers. Right. As for those outside the organization that are also critical of the new bill, that includes those who see it as a missed opportunity to teach a lesson in critical thinking, and yes, people who see this as a free speech issue, as you said. Sure. People like Principal Cohen, who actually invited Breaking the Silence to speak at his school last year. Take a look.
נשאלת השאלה, איפה היו האנשים? למה הם לא עמדו מנגד וצעקו לא? ולטעמי, אנחנו היום במדינת ישראל מדרדרים למקום שבו הציבור צריך לקום ולומר, עד כאן. אי אפשר לחוקק חוקים סלקטיביים שפוגעים בקבוצות אוכלוסייה שלא מוצאות חן בעיני השלטון. ואני חושב שכמנהל בית ספר, כמחנך, שזה חובתי לקום ולומר, רבותיי, עד כאן, החוקים האלה הם כבר חוקים שבאים לפגוע במרחב הדמוקרטי, אני לא נותן לזה יד, אני לא מסכים לזה ואני אתנגד לזה.
Education is about thinking critically. It's about hearing people that you don't agree with. And this is what we want to teach our children to be. We don't want them just to hear one side of the story. We want them to hear things that we do not agree with them.
Yeah, I mean, hearing those points of views, that's an interesting argument. It's an interesting paradox here, this whole thing. Now, along those lines, some schools have said that they're prepared to ignore this new law. If and when that should happen, I'm sure we'll have plenty more to discuss. In the meantime, thank you so much for the report, Aaron.
Thank you.